Welcome back to the channel. Here I have a video titled Dating in the Philippines is Getting Out of Control. Now, when I did personal recon in the Philippines, doing my research, talking to the ladies, I don't think I said this publicly, but I wish I did. At the time where I was talking to them, I'm like, yeah, they're USA Part 2. If it's not coming now, bro, it's gonna come extremely soon. Just having the amount of conversations that I've had over there, I'm like, yeah. So hopefully he touches on some points, and maybe I'll talk about my experience of what I had. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. I'm gonna speed this up because this is already a long video. So let's go ahead and get into it now.
Hey, what's up, guys? In this video, I have good news, but I have bad news as well about the current landscape of dating and relationships here in the Philippines. I just want to share the harsh reality about what it's really like here and how things are changing in these new directions and where I kind of see things going, because things have changed a lot since I first came here almost 3 years ago. And I've talked to a lot of guys that have been here much longer than me, and they say the same thing about how it's changed a lot from when they came and up until now. And so you really have to know what you're getting into when you're coming here, because guys all around the world, Western countries, not just the US and Canada and UK, whatever, it's so many countries that have the Philippines on their radar. You know, India, Poland, Russia. That point alone, just the sheer number and the saturation of, guys focusing on the Philippines does have a lot to do with what I'm going to talk about in this video. But don't get discouraged. I am going to tell you some things that maybe you don't want to hear, but I'm going to finish, like I said, with good news and sort of give you some perspective of things that I think will leave you with a good feeling and some optimism about things over here. So don't just scrap your plans to come to the Philippines. This is all going to sound okay by the end of this video. Before I get started, guys, I want to give a shout out to the partner of this video, Christian Filipina, where there's a link in the description. You can give them a call, check out their packages, see if it's a good fit for you. And if you do give it a go, I wish you good luck. I hope you meet someone amazing. All right, let's get to this video, starting with the bad news, guys. Well, as I was kind of mentioning in the opening there, things are changing here in the Philippines. They are not what they used to be. And the main point I want to make with that is I think it's harder now than ever to find your way through the mess. The mess is bigger now. The barriers are, there's more barriers. There's more crap you have to go through before you can find someone that you're going to feel compatible with, that you're going to feel you can trust with the sheer.
Does that sound like anything? Does that sound like anything? Okay, just keep going.
Number of guys that are focused on the Philippines. There's just so much attention. Filipinas, whether they're in the city or way out in the province in the middle of nowhere, they have online access. They're getting the attention from guys. And it's going to mess with the mindset, right? It's going to impact the mindset of girls, just as it does with guys that come here and they're just like, oh my God, they're flooded. Their inbox is flooded with matches. It can be overwhelming. The same thing is happening.
It doesn't mess with people who are genuine and understand what they want. It will never mess with people like that. What it does is it makes people reconsider what they want because they now have access to other things. Does that make sense? It's like, bro, if you want a long-term relationship and a marriage and that's what you're set upon, it doesn't matter how many women you have access to, because you're only focused on that one, the one type of person that you're looking for who shares the same values and goals that you have. But however, what's happening is when that's no longer just your only option, people are starting to change.
Happening for Filipinas. It's for them to decide who they put their attention to. Another thing, a lot of these guys lead with their wallet. A lot of these guys
simping. What is that? Where have we seen that before? I'm so glad that he's not doing the BS of pandering to guys to make it seem like it's not their fault. Bro, it's the dudes. That's the one thing, bro. When the whole dating war thing first came out, I was on the team guy all the way because, again, I was going through the same thing that they was going through. But as a part of me who can put myself in other people's shoes, I want to know where people are coming from. Why are they saying these things? When I went to that other side and I started realizing the types of men that they were talking about, I'm like, yeah, I completely understand where they're coming from. Now, I don't have a team. I just focus on what it is that I'm trying to get out of my life and my goals that I have. And when I did that, bro, it's like I now realize why there's a whole war in the first place. It's just two groups of people who are not going after what it is that they want, and instead they're trying to make something that has told them that this isn't going to work out, make it work out. They're trying to put a square shape in a circle hole, and it's just not happening.
Will use that as a strategy to get someone's attention, to have someone interested in them. And then it's also guys that open up their wallet easily from girls that are throwing out the hardships. And then the guys open up their wallet, and then there's money exchange that way too. There's always going to be
It's just $20, bro. It's just $50, bro. It's just $150, bro. If you're broke, just say that, bro. It's like that's exactly the type of dudes that we're talking about. The girls go up there like, oh, I need $50, and the dudes are like, oh, okay, bro. It's just $50. What's $50 to me? Yeah, exactly. That's how it starts.
the scammer type that's just focused on getting money and manipulating you. But there's a lot of girls that are being influenced by the simple fact that there's a lot of money going around. It can be handed out easily, and money does not come by easily in the Philippines in any other way. I met a girl, or I met a group of girls when I was in the province, kind of like friends or whatever. And this one girl matched with a guy. They ended up chatting. Within a week, he bought her a brand new iPhone. And then an allowance started.
Yep, there. I'm telling you. Again, it's like these different countries. This is exactly why I stopped really focusing on like travel content of showing like promising countries, because I'm realizing that the very men who's causing this mess in the first place, they're some of the, I shouldn't even say some, it's a lot of these guys who are going to these countries and then ruining it. It's the mindset of the men that's ruining these girls. A lot of guys like to blame the girls, and yes, of course, we can blame the girls. But at the same time, we have to have some accountability and say, listen, there's a mindset here that's really destroying these girls, because again, they can't get away with it unless men are the ones backing it. And a lot of men are backing it.
Kicking in. And so her friends were like, well, I want an iPhone. I would love an allowance like that. It's like life-changing money, right? You can see how this can spread. You can see how a good girl who has such a high focus on helping her family and all that can just fall into that mindset easily and find herself just focused on the money thing.
They're not victims. Don't make them victims. They're not victims. They're making a choice. They're making an active choice. I've met plenty of good girls who will never take money from strangers. Never. So it's like, let's not victimize them. Oh, she's just so hungry. And she just, stop it. She's a grown woman making an adult decision. She knows what she's doing.
Another story. I had met a girl who was from the province, and we met, we had coffee, and I ended up chatting with her afterwards, and she said, hey, I want to be honest with you. When I was chatting with you and agreed to meet and all that stuff, she's like, I wasn't serious about any kind of relationship, and I was planning on trying to find a way to get money from you. I was surprised.
What does that sound like? What does that sound like? What does that sound like? Interesting.
That she opened up, but I was sort of, quizzing her about some things, and it just sort of came out. But she said, when I met you in person and I saw you as an actual person and you were very nice, I felt really bad about it. And she just basically said, it's just focused on.
Don't worry, sweetheart. You dive into the evil long enough, that consciousness is going to go away.
The struggle with my family, and I thought that could be a good way to solve some of these problems. This kind of thing is way more common than I ever even realized. Even a buddy of mine and his wife, who's amazing, and they're a great couple, was telling me about her friends, her single friends, who she loves, and they're great people, and they're great with their family, and great with kids, and so many good things you can say about them. When the conversation came up about potentially dating or meeting, she was like, I got to tell you though, they have pretty much all had done something online with guys in a scammy type of way, or in a non-genuine type of way, in order to get money, in order to get help with this.
Of course, because dudes are falling for it. It's not even falling for it. They're offering it. They're leading with that. I'm telling you, these are dudes who didn't do the personal development, who didn't do the self-improvement work, the people who lack a vision, and who are honestly just trying to go find as many good girls as possible, sleep with them, and leave. That's these guys. These are scumbags, bro.
Help with that, send me money for this. They've all sort of played the game with foreigners in order to, manipulate the situation a little bit to get that easy money. Good, nice, genuine people are falling into this type of lifestyle here because of the number of guys that are coming here, because of the easier opportunities probably now than ever to kind of tap into this.
So it's the men. Let's get this very clear. It's the men. They're offering these things. And because a lot of women are saying, well, I'll just accept it, it's causing the change that's happening.
Business. There's almost like big business here in the Philippines for Filipinas to have some life-changing money. Another big thing, guys, that's impacting the way things are here in the Philippines now, it's not a new thing, but it's only getting worse, and that is social media and how that impacts, Filipinas and their view on dating and relationships with foreigners in particular.
I saw a dating profile of a Filipina, and she was tall, fat. And again, to be fat and a Filipina, come on now, crazy. And her bio said, if you're not 6 feet, swipe left. And I'm looking at it, I'm like, yep. That's a seed, bro, that's slowly growing over time. I'm telling you, I saw a video the other day of a Filipino woman talking about if she's dating somebody, he has to make $2,500 a month. And a lot of guys, Americans, in the comments were like, bro, 2,500 is nothing. That's nothing. That's nothing. And I'm thinking, I didn't even say anything. I'm looking, I'm like, $2,500 is absolutely insane in the Philippines. And again, for the average Filipino person, and it's like, bro, who does that sound like? Just take the numbers and switch them to American. She's saying that she's not dating somebody unless they make six figures. Right? Come on, bro. How are we not seeing this? A lot of dudes don't care because again, they're not thinking of the long term, which is why they didn't study their personal development. They didn't study their self-improvement. They don't care. The only thing they care about is sleeping with 304s or ruining good girls and turning them into 304s. And that's what really hurt me because I thought a lot of these dudes wanted genuine relationships. They wanted to go overseas and actually have a long-term girlfriend or have a wife and have family. No. See, that changes the whole dynamic because you're not mad at these girls because they're sleeping with a bunch of dudes. You're not mad at these girls because they're acting like 304s. No. You're mad at them because they're not sleeping with you. See, that's a completely different viewpoint. I can't get behind that. That's completely different because I noticed whenever I join these passport bro groups or I'm talking to other passport bros, these dudes aren't finding long-term girlfriends. Now, again, I see a community. Usually they're quiet. Usually they don't have a social media presence like that. They're announcing like their wedding or they're about to have kids or it's a beautiful thing. But I'm seeing a lot of dudes, at least the ones that have platforms or are trying to grow a platform, these dudes are not focused on that at all. They're trying to bring that degenerative American culture and bringing it overseas. They're trying to pretend to be ballers, pretend to be the six-figure earner, pretend to be these dudes just so they can sleep with 304s. I reject that. Now, again, don't hear me. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you want to date as a man, bro, date. If you want to sleep around with 304s as a man, bro, do that. But understand, like, have some rules. Like, I'm seeing dudes really ruin good girls over what? Coochie, bro? And it's disgusting, some of these stories that I be hearing. I'm like, bro, when you go overseas, if you're willing to pay for play, bro, go do that. Don't take a good girl, sell her a dream, and then crush her because you wanted some box. Box is not that good. I don't care what box is not that good to where you have to really destroy a person because you're used to running game in America. You're not in America, bro. The game may be the same foundationally, but there's so many aspects of it that you could get in and get out by telling the truth. And I feel like I'm talking to a brick wall with these guys.
And how it's impacting province Filipinas, the type of Filipinas that were once really sought after for their, being traditional or being the type of girl that you cannot find in a Western country. The Philippines was always a place where you can find that. Well, social media is screwing it up for a lot of Filipinas.
No, it's not social media. It's the dudes. Stop it. It's not social media. It's the dudes. Because, listen, a thought only has real weight if somebody's backing it. You understand what I'm saying? Somebody has to be backing it. Do you think our women became delusional because nobody was backing it? No, we were backing it as the men, and then I say we, take me far away from it because that was not me. But again, there's a lot of dudes, and again, a lot of guys operate in the shadows. They pretend like no, as long as nobody can see me. But I see you, bro. I see you. I know when you're under that comment. I read them. I'm looking at them like, see, you're the type of dude. A girl will be displaying like the most craziest red flags. Like, and I'm talking about like, not like cute little red flags, if that even exists. I'm talking about hardcore red flags. And there's going to be some dude in the comment, oh, bro, I can change her. Hey, yo, bro, what's her at? Yes, these are the dudes that are backing it. 100%. Which means that he's enabling that behavior instead of correcting that behavior. Well, I'm just trying to smash, bro, so it don't even matter.
Various reasons. The same way social media messes up people in your own country, it's doing the same thing here. Unrealistic expectations, a bigger focus on vanity, getting addicted to the attention that you get on social media, external validation from foreigners that they're friends with now on Facebook, getting likes, getting comments, things like that. That becomes addicting.
Yep, bro. And again, it's like they, bro, go if you look at videos talking about the Philippines and they're by like Filipino women, they're doing the same degenerative, sexualized content that has been ruining the Western countries. And guess who's watching it? Hundreds of thousands of men. See, if all those men decided like I'm not watching those videos, they're not gonna make those videos. But guess what happens? They're thinking with the other head, and guess what? More Filipinas are starting to follow in that footstep of having these overly sexualized channels. What do you think happens when the way to get a bag is to over sexualize yourself? What do you think is going to happen? Is it an OnlyFans thing? Come on now.
Changes the psyche of Filipinas that are out in the middle of nowhere making these little videos and posts. Social media is great in many ways, but it sucks in so many ways too. And there's no question it is, changing the way things are here. It's trending quickly away from the way it used to be here in the Philippines, quite quickly because of social media, unfortunately, guys. All right, let me just switch perspectives real quick on you to make a few points so you really know what you're getting into, because guys come to the Philippines or they start the process online, trying to meet someone with really high hopes and really high expectations. A lot of excitement for good reason, right? Like being fed up with a crappy dating environment back home, the Philippines just sounds like the perfect place, the perfect opportunity. And what often happens is guys realize that finding compatibility might be harder than you think. You might come here with a certain thing in mind of what you're looking for, and then realize, maybe the conversations are shallow or not deep conversations. They're very simple conversations, and a lot of guys struggle with that.
And then one of my experiences that really, not even one, a lot of my experiences that really turned me off to Filipinas is a large majority of them are children, bro. And again, I'm not talking about an age, I'm talking about a mentality. A lot of them are childish. And when I say childish, bro, I mean like middle school level childish. It's kind of like a childish that you're kind of looking at them like, do you know you're 25? Do you know you're 23? Bro, it's like I'm telling you, it really turned me off in the biggest way how much of a child that a lot of these girls were acting like. And I'm like, oh, this is why this could be very popular with a lot of dudes, at least a lot of dudes that are underdeveloped or who haven't worked on themselves, because they're at the same level, if not maybe a little bit more, like at a high school level.
Language is part of that, but I'm just talking the actual depth of the conversation, the banter. And a lot of guys don't even realize how important that is for them. Part of it is just cultural and a lack of exposure to different things and ideas and topics that you're used to. Unless you're meeting girls like in Manila, grew up there, working at an international company, traveling, things like that. A lot of guys come here and match and meet, province Filipinas, for example, and their exposure to different things is very limited. And so the conversations are going to be very simple. They're going to be very different. And some guys are totally fine with that. And some guys know what they're getting into. They like that, they want that, or they adapt very well to that. But a lot of guys do not. You really need to know what is important to you when it comes to connecting with someone. Another thing is feeling the pressure for, marriage and kids, and Filipinas wanting that security to kick in right away. And a lot of guys are just not comfortable with that. Talking about big picture things way earlier than maybe what you're used to. And so that is something that some guys are prepared.
And my thing is, what do you mean way earlier? Most of the general audience when we're talking about traveling overseas is 30 plus. What are we talking about big picture? What are we talking about rushing? What else do you want? I'm really trying to figure that out. It's like at what age? I can't, because again, this is where we start to dive into it. Most dudes are not looking for long-term relationships. They're not looking for wives. They're not looking for family. They're not looking for children. They're not looking for that, bro. They're looking to go overseas, pretend to be ballers, sleep with a bunch of chicks until they meet some knockout nine who treats them like a god, and all of a sudden, yeah, bro, it's ridiculous. But and again, it's childish to me. It's childish to me because I look at it, I'm like, that's what you wanted? And I'm like, no wonder you were getting no play here, because at least the women here smartened up and were like, bro, why would I sleep with some average Joe who's just trying to sleep with me and leave when I could at least go after somebody who I'm attracted to either physically or emotionally, or can benefit me financially. You know what I'm saying? That's when I started understanding where a lot of the women are coming from. Cause I'm like, bro, that's your goal. That's what you're doing. Bro, if there was a girl who wanted to sleep with somebody, I completely understand why she chose the Chad or the Tyrone with the horrible personality versus you. You're no different, except you're unattractive. Okay, maybe that was a little too far, but you get what I'm saying.
Prepared for, and some guys want. Some guys will come here and they're ready to get married, and they'll get married within a few weeks of meeting someone. But a lot of guys are going to be thrown off by that. I have chatted with girls that basically before even meeting, they're talking about marriage and kids. And one girl in particular was saying, worst case scenario, if you don't want to marry me, I at least want to have a kid. I at least want to have a child with you. And if I raise that child on my own, that's totally fine.
Listen to how crazy that sounds. How backwards that sounds. Does that sound like somebody we know? Talking about, bro, when I'm in a long-term relationship, and again, when I mean like when I was looking for a long-term relationship, there was no like, oh, I'm just going to get to know this person. Of course I'm going to get to know this person. But I'm talking about marriage, the first date. And what I mean by that is I'm telling them my plan. Like, listen, I want kids. I want to get married. These are the things that I'm trying to do within the next 3, 5, 10 years. Are you on board with being a wife and all this other stuff? What else are we talking about? What else are we talking about? I'm not getting to the 3rd, 4th date and I find out she doesn't want kids. That's a waste of my time. And like I said, I'm not dating. I wasn't dating to get into somebody's pants. It's a completely different mindset. And I see a lot of guys, they're not on that same type of time, bro. They're trying to have conversations, sleep around, and then figure it out as they go.
Fine. So it's different here when it comes to that kind of thing. And it's something you're going to have to navigate. And it's something that is way more challenging than I think a lot of guys realize. And
bro, and it's not just the Philippines. A lot of places are like that. A lot of places are like, yeah, I like you. Let's get married, have family, have children. A lot of places like that. This is why you could go overseas. And again, I'm not sharing any countries anymore, but you could go to these places and a lot of the girls are virgins. And again, not the Americanized virgin where they're like, oh, I'm a virgin. They really have 40 bodies. No, I'm talking about real life virgins and they're 23, 24. Right, because again, dating is completely different where they're from. It's, hey, let's be serious together. Do you want to be serious with me? Yes, this is the plan. Let's go ahead and get started.
So this point, what often happens is that's where guys get into the cycle of dating and not committing to anyone because of all of these different barriers and things that I'm bringing up. It's harder than you think to meet someone where it just clicks and there's not any big issues, there's not anything to worry about, there's not too many prep.
And again, that's childish to me, bro. We just didn't click. What does that even mean? For me, I'm thinking of, okay, character, values, goals. That's literally it. Character, values, goals. Well, we just didn't click. Like, what does that even mean, bro? And again, we're grown men. We're not 18-year-olds, bro. We're not 20-year-olds. We're 30 plus. Talking to like, oh, the chemistry wasn't there. The spark wasn't there. Who do we sound like? Who do we sound like? You see what I'm saying?
Pressures, and it just feels right. And it matches your goals in life. Coming here with more financial freedom, time, wanting to live a certain lifestyle. It's endless, the challenges that can come into play when it comes to meeting someone and feeling like, all right, this is it. Let's go for it. So now let's pivot completely to the good news, the positive side of all of this, guys. As hard as it might be for a lot of guys, it's not hard for everyone. And I know a lot of guys that are happy here in relationships. They're happily married or they're happily just in a relationship with someone. One thing that I notice with a lot of them is they're adaptable guys. They're open-minded. You know, some of the girlfriends of these guys have a few kids. Well, I know many guys won't deal with that, especially younger kids. But guys that are okay with that and embrace that, they're rolling with things here. They're overlooking a lot of things that a lot of guys won't overlook. This is probably the biggest thing that I notice with guys that are successful here. Another thing would be the really cute, attractive girl that you see everywhere on dating apps, on Facebook, walking around. You know, a lot of the guys that I know that are happily married or in relationships, they're not dating way out of their league. They're dating someone that's a little bit more on the same page. There's probably some.
That's how it's supposed to be. That's another thing that really blows me when it comes to dudes. I'm talking to dudes, bro, and again, in forums and group chats and these things, Buddy would be a 5 out of 10. Again, no homo. This is just the reality, right? 5 out of 10. If we asked him, he'll probably rate himself a 6 out of 10. I'm thinking like, okay, like, who do you think you deserve? Like, show us a picture of who do you think you deserve. Bro will post a 9. I'm like, what do you, come on, bro. Who do you sound like? Who you sound exactly like the problem you're running away from. Brother, if you are a 4 out of 10, let's keep it real, okay? If you're a 4 out of 10, the best you're gonna get, and again, the best you're gonna get is a 6, maybe, and that's if you have enough money to sustain it. It's a 6, maybe. I'm seeing dudes 3s, 4s, 5s, 6s trying to go for 9s. I'm like, bro, if you really want a 9 that bad, pay for play, bro. Listen, are we adults? Can we be adults? I'm trying to be an adult. Can we be an adult? Okay. But bro, for marriage material, you're trying to go for somebody 3. Come on. So if you're a 6, bro, the highest that you can get is an 8. And again, that's if you have other things going for you, not just off the strength of the muscle. Come on now. I'm talking about if you really have your life together. Niggas, bro, be talking about bro, they're delusional. They're delusional going at, oh yeah, I get what I deserve. I'm like, brother, you're a 6. Like, you don't deserve no 9, bro. You're a 6 and you don't have money or a body or not, like nothing useful. You know what I'm saying? And it's like for me personally, bro, I know where I stand and I know the highest quality girl that I can get and I shoot for that. Period. I'm not going after something completely out of my league. That doesn't even make sense.
Some age gap. It seems like there's always some age gap here with guys that come, but just overall and in terms of looks and things like that, again, they're a little bit more well matched. That seems to be way more common for the guys that are settled into things. It's not like the shocking hottie with the big overweight, out of shape, old guy. You see that here, but
and again, you have 50-plus-year-old grown men trying to secure that type of dynamic. And again, average 50 plus, not ballers. I'm talking about average 50 plus dudes trying to secure that dynamic. Childish.
it's often just more, it's odd or it's just noticeably transactional or noticeably maybe not compatible. And then of course there's exceptions to that, big time. There are guys that are like, wow, look at your wife and it seems legit and great and compatible and all that stuff. But just making a point here, guys, that, you know, if you come here with a little bit more reasonable expectations on who you're going to be with and who you're going to settle with, and if you're open to girls with kids, or if you want to have kids and you're really wanting to get married, now you're falling into that category of, you know, it's going to be a lot easier for you. A lot of guys wonder what it might be like to meet a girl in another country. Like, of course, guys are giving up on their Western countries, but what about Thailand? What about Vietnam? What about Mexico? What about the Dominican Republic? What about Costa Rica? Well, all of those countries.
Listen, I salute you. You make it in Vietnam. I salute you, but you really got to live there and really get involved with the people and be a social type of person to make that work. Vietnamese girls just, they don't play, bro. And again, their culture dynamic ensures that they can't play based off of the things that they have to endure. It's a nice culture, even though a lot of them have crazy surgeries.
Countries that I just listed are countries are places where I've recently chatted with guys that came from those countries. that tried in those countries, that tried and failed and are now looking at the Philippines as a better option. And when they start to compare and they start to look into, the pros and cons of both, they realize, well, there's pros and cons everywhere, but the Philippines is still way better. And that's really the main message I want to end this video with. Good luck finding a better place. You're not going back to the US and coming anywhere near the Philippines when it comes to opportunities, despite all of this crap that you have to navigate through. And you're not necessarily going to find.
I call cap on that. I call real cap on that. But again, he might be talking to a different demographic of men, and they might be looking for something completely different. But trust me when I say, and again, he might be talking about his race equivalent. But trust me when I say there are a lot of hidden countries that you could really make your life and not only have opportunities financially, but opportunities in relationships as well. If you actually want help with that, DM me. I'm not saying these things publicly anymore because, bro, free this type of gold. I know what dudes do. Dudes will get on Tinder or Bumble, Hinge, whatever the hell, and then they'll make like one of those pro accounts to where they get to travel, and then they'll just go try to spit game. It's terrible, bro. It's terrible.
Find anything better in a developing country or a place that's cheaper or whatever. Yeah, you might, and I'm sure there are guys out there that have had success in some of those countries that I listed or a different country. But when you start comparing and you start talking to guys that have been to these other countries, you're not going to find a country that easily that's better than the Philippines in terms of overall opportunity, the type of girls that you can meet here, English speaking, the type of culture that is basically the reason why guys come here in the first place. The Philippines is still a phenomenal place.
And I'll say this just as a little bit of free game. If you're a young guy, bro, having a real life in the Philippines, like, okay, this is me. I could never, because I want to build a strong foundation. I can't build that in the Philippines. Flood Town, USA. Come on, bro. The amount of hurricane. They have a hurricane season. That's a flooding season. You can never really develop anything as far as infrastructure in the Philippines because it's always going to flood. Anyways. Same thing with the Dominican Republic. I can never build on an island. I don't see how guys can do that confidently.
And a phenomenal opportunity for you to experience something way better than what you're experiencing currently. There is interest in foreigners, and that alone, even if you have to date for a little while and then date someone else, it's not terrible. It still gives you good, positive feelings about your opportunities here because at least you get some momentum going. At least you're getting really good positive attention. And if you're decent at navigating the girls that are just you don't want to mess with, you're probably still at least having some, relations with girls, dating girls until you find the right one. And maybe you're having shorter term relationships that don't work out. But if something doesn't work out, it's not going to be that hard for you to get back on the horse again and find someone else and see where that goes. And that is something that you're just not able to do back home. And it's not something, from what I'm understanding, that's as easy to do in some of these other countries.
In other words, go out, sleep with a bunch of chicks, and then till you find the right one. And I just want to point out that's the modern woman's dating strategy when it comes to relationships, just to show you guys how illogical that is. But, come see, come saw.
Countries, the cultural compatibility, the language barrier, and other reasons, it's still probably one of the best, if not the best place in the world, in my opinion, for anything to do with dating and relationships. So there you go, guys. I think there's so many reasons to be optimistic. And I think if you come here with the right mindset and you come here with the right expectations and you know what you're getting into and you're just content, even being single and just being content without pressure on yourself to just find the perfect girl, that's something that I've adapted to or adjusted to over the years that I've been here. I came here with a little bit of a pressure on myself to meet this perfect person to mold into my lifestyle. But I can tell you this, I'm very happy. Like I love my freedom. I love my flexibility. I love my lifestyle. I don't have high pressure on myself. I don't have this urgency to get married and all of those things. So that's not something that's driving me. So I'm okay. And I think a lot of guys share this kind of attitude as well. And some guys might tell you, like a friend of mine who I just interviewed, Brian, he's not even wanting a relationship. He loves being single. He has no intention for settling down, but he dates. He's forthcoming about it. He's upfront about it. and he just has time with his buddies. He travels. He might have someone that he's chatting with that he'll take on a trip, and he'll show them some really amazing places. And he's just upfront about his intentions of staying single and not being, tied down or not having the stress of things. This kind of free, flexible, single life for a lot of guys, at least in the time being until the right thing comes around without feeling pressure to just jump into something, I think it's okay. The point I'm trying to make, guys, if you come here with just a good mindset, an open mindset, without that pressure, all of this crap that I'm talking about is not going to impact you that much. Just be patient, enjoy your time here, figure out what you're looking for. That's one of the biggest things for sure. And and the right thing will happen at the right time. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you for watching. As always, check out the links in the description for Christian Filipina and other.
All right, y'all. I don't think I have much to say. This is already a long video, but I will say this. My thing is, bro, I say this all the time. I just don't think guys take it seriously. If you want to be a single bachelor lifestyle, James Bond type, sleeping with 304s or whatever, that's cool, bro. Go live your lifestyle. But what I'm seeing is a lot of dudes who are going to these places, lying to these women, lying to good girls just to get in their pants. And it's absolutely disgusting. This is why a lot of these women here are single mothers. Of course, because of their own decisions and the men that they sleep with. But I'm seeing a lot of dudes who are going over here just for the sake of getting their nut off or trying to break apart homes and things like that. And for me, that's not family minded. That's not community minded. That's not building a firm foundation to ensuring your fulfillment as a man. Has nothing to do with that. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? I want to hear your comments. And with that, I'll see y'all in the next one. All right, peace.